When I think about Wednesday morning, if we know by Wednesday morning, what I would be most sad about, right, if Trump were to lose, it would be the loss of this like new burgeoning America, like a group that's, yes, concerned about our health, about the size of government, about largesse amongst the elites at the cost of the working and middle class, about children and the trans insanity and what we're doing to them, cutting them up, about the border and the women who will die. Like, those are the things I think of. I've never been in, forgive me, but like the cult of Trump. I've never been that person, as the audience knows. But I do believe in what he's offering and those around him.
Mm-hmm. I do too. And I think that, if we're looking at the numbers, honestly, I think that 70% of America sees that and they want that. And if they could get over some of those hang up lies that they're being fed, especially around abortion, and we can talk about that and what the real statistics are around abortion clinics and maternal health. But I think that 70% of America wants exactly what you just shared, and they believe fully in their hearts that a Trump win come next week will deliver the action items that are going to get us to a safer America, a healthier America, America with less corruption, an America that prioritizes that which is, sacred human experience. And so, people are seeing some of this insanity. They can't reconcile it. And rather than, giving up on this vision, I think that this vision carries through. And the lawfares, it's already started. They are trying to now sue Elon Musk for some of the actions of his PAC. And it's relentless. But at the same time, the energy and support, the ground reality of what is actually being felt across this country, even here in California, even in the Bay Area. I joke that in the state of California, the only people currently left in the closet are Trump supporters because you can't just come out as a Trump supporter here yet. But I will say that there's a lot of people here in the state of California who really, really want all of those things that this team that he surrounded himself with will deliver if given the opportunity.
And a friend of mine here was telling me she's on a text thread with a bunch of her LA friends where she used to live. And that one person started some comments about abortion, abortion, abortion. And then she issued just a brief response about, okay, maybe, but by the way, it's a states' rights issue now. It's really not in the hands of the president any longer or ever, really. Immigration and safety and all these other things. And she was afraid to text this because she knew what the LA text chain was going to say in response. And what she told me was, to her surprise, all these other women on the text chain sided with her, either openly on the text chain or texted her. And that's in California, Nicole. I do think that more and more women are starting to get it. And I know there's a gender gap in this race and that more women are going for Kamala than they are for Trump. But I do think more and more women are starting to understand that, before our daughters can ever make a decision about abortion, they have to live a well and safe life. They have to not be poisoned by their water and their food. They have to not be hurt by a boy playing against them on the basketball or volleyball court. They have to be able to be safe walking through the city to go to school and not be killed by criminals let out by soft on crime DAs. They have to be safe when they are out at night with friends and not get murdered or attacked or raped by illegals long before they're ever going to have to make an abortion decision. And even worst case scenario for said girls in this country, there will always be half of the states that allow this procedure now that it has been relegated back to a statewide issue. Those are just truths.
Those are absolute truths, and the data supports it. The data supports that, the conflating of what they call life-saving care in the event of a abruption, which is usually a placental caused bleed in the uterus. This is what Christy Teigen claims, that you can now not get safely due to Donald Trump. I mean, there's literally no bigger lie that is being shared right now than that claim that women can't access life-saving care in the event of a miscarriage. That is just a lie. There's no data to support that. If they want to make the claim, and this is even stretching, that the states in which don't have abortion clinics don't have as many trained surgeons who can do a D&E or a D&C operation, maybe you can make that claim, but I haven't seen that data at all. In fact, there are trained Stanford oncological OBGYNs who are moving to Texas, because it's actually, they just want to go to Texas. And so they're pumping out very well trained individuals that are able to perform these life-saving surgeries. If that's what they want to fund, they can do that. There's no laws restricting it. And there's ways to make sure that maternal care is absolutely going in the right direction. But this lie that abortions and life-saving miscarriage care are the same thing, that's what they're trying to do. They're conflating these two very, very different circumstances and trying to claim it's now Donald J. Trump's fault. There's just no data that supports that. And so, to your point about how there are other issues impacting women that statistically are far greater, far greater. There are young women experiencing turbo cancers that are now having to get surgery to remove their breasts in their early 40s. I mean, in my community, know 6 women that have had that surgery in the last 2 years. So it is, there are falsehoods in their narrative that are being felt, by our communities, and we have the ability to address it. Finally, if we have the right administration going in
Yes.
next year, we can actually address the real issues, not the
You
made-up
think about
ones.
these moms who are so focused on abortion, which will never be illegal in the United States of America. It will never be illegal. The only possible way it would ever become illegal on a nationwide basis is if the Democrats make the case, if Kamala wins, and if the Dems win the House and the Senate, if the Democrats make the false case that Congress has the ability to regulate this issue, which it doesn't. It doesn't. It derives most of its powers from the Commerce Clause. And if it's not generally related to the Commerce or Taxing Clause, generally Congress cannot do it. That it would be considered congressional overreach because it's a matter for the states. If the Democrats make the case, if they attain power, that they do have the right and pass a nationwide Roe regime, yes, that could potentially open the door to a Republican administration coming in once it's obtained power in the Senate and the House, and then implementing a federal ban, which is why it is an incredibly stupid thing to campaign on, as Kamala Harris is. But I predict either way, whether the Dems try to do that or the Republicans try to do that, it will go up to the U.S. Supreme Court, and such a law will be struck down as an overreach by Congress. I've been looking into this. There's only one law that they tried to do on a nationwide basis when it comes to abortion that comes to mind, and it's the partial birth abortion law, which was upheld by Congress, but no one involved was challenging it by saying the Congress didn't have the ability in the first place to pass the law. No one even raised that issue. So it's still ripe for Supreme Court to say Congress doesn't have this power at all. I believe that's how this will go down if anybody is ever so bold as to actually try to legislate abortion on a countrywide basis from the federal level. So there you have that. Okay, but meanwhile, RFKJ and you and now Trump would like to take young girls and the moms who are so worried about their abortion rights and say to those moms, you're poisoning your daughter every day. You don't mean to be, but you are. Take one look at the Halloween candy she got last night. and do a little Google search on the ingredients. But you don't even have to think about it. I mean, Halloween candy, we kind of know is bad for us. Look at your Cheerios. Look at the orange juice that you give her. Look at the pasta and what pesticides it's been sprayed with prior to it getting to your daughter's plate. And by the way, 10 times all of that when they go to school. Never mind if they're on a low-income supplemental diet, funded by the federal government. It'll be all terrible stuff, preservative-laden, pesticide-laden. So those moms need to understand the danger is present. What RFKJ, what you, what Trump are about to fight against. It's present. It's every day, and it's in every meal, and it's in every home. Nonetheless, you get hit pieces like this from CNN, freaking out about Bobby's potential role in a Trump administration. Trump's plan to radically remake government with RFKJ and Elon Musk by CNN. This is yesterday. They talk about 2025 as though Trump hasn't disavowed that and denied having anything to do with it. But then they say there's an equally radical and expansive government reformation plan coming out of Trump's own mouth with heterodox figures like RFKJ, where he would be given free rein to, quote, go wild on the health safety system, and Elon would be enabled to start from scratch with the federal workforce. Then they go on to suggest that Kennedy compared vaccine requirements with the Nazi Germany era, claiming Anne Frank was in a better situation. That is so out of context. It was a rally at which he was talking about censorship and government forcing us to do certain things. And by the way, he apologized for that, but he didn't even need to. It was being used against him unfairly. And then they hit him for his wild conspiracy theories about chemicals in the water allegedly making children gay or transgender. By the way, there are hormones in our water that we do need to be concerned about. And talking about his stance on vaccines. This leads me, long-windedly, forgive me, Nicole, to one of your Maha ads, which we talked about last time, are the best in the business, and one that you call Dear Dad. It references your own daughter. For the audience, take a listen.
Dear Dad, I woke up to a text from you that said, I want you to know that even though we don't agree on who the better presidential candidate is, I still love and respect your choices. Dad, I love and respect you too. You and Mom are now 75, and you have 4 grandkids. Your middle grandchild, born healthy, but after receiving her childhood vaccinations, now has an autism diagnosis, living in an almost silent world. I've come to learn that the meals you fed us when we were children, they're not the same anymore. If I were to put the same dinner on the table that you did back on those busy work nights, those same foods are now filled with chemicals. The truth is, there is only one candidate that has aligned themselves with stopping this. There is only one candidate who's going to give our kids a chance at a healthy existence. Trump is working with Bobby and Nicole to do just that. Make America healthy again.
Can you explain that ad, Nicole?
That was written by my sister-in-law, Lily. And I read it, and it was perfection. She wrote it one afternoon. She's an attorney. She's a strong woman who's voting for Trump as well. She's an attorney in Arizona and Phoenix. And she's a working mom, 3 kids. And she came to this through her baby Jack, her youngest, who after receiving his MMR vaccine was diagnosed with GB, which is a debilitating, very quick onset disease. Some kids don't make it through it. Luckily, Jack did. But Jack was taken to the hospital on life support. At some point, doctors didn't know if he would make it out, and he, thank God, did. But this is a story that, unfortunately, many moms can tell you about, and they can tell you the details of what went down. And no one has given these moms a voice. No one's given these dads a voice. And for the first time, we're doing so using a political platform, because this might be our best chance to get it heard. And It's why I joined the campaign. I just kept meeting too many families who had experienced this. I met too many kids struggling with chronic disease. And it was just shocking to me that nobody in the Democratic Party was willing to acknowledge it.
This year, supply chain issues have been more prevalent than ever. Whether it's the result of natural disasters like Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, global conflict, or inflation, the impacts are being felt everywhere. While they sometimes are a minor inconvenience, delays in accessing essential medications can become catastrophic. The U.S. relies on overseas sources for more than 80% of its generic medications. So what happens when there are delays? Or what if supplies are cut off? How will you care for your loved ones and yourself? The JACE case offers peace of mind for you and your family in the face of delays, shortages, and disasters. This is an emergency medication kit containing 5 life-saving antibiotics that treat the most common and deadly bacterial infections. Simply complete a quick online evaluation to ensure you're prepared. The JACE case can also be customized with add-ons like ivermectin, EpiPens, and more. Don't wait. Consider preparing right now. Receive a discount on your JACE case by visiting JACE.com and entering promo code MK at checkout. That's promo code MK at JACE.com, ensuring you have the right medications exactly when you need them. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.